Hello, welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. Today we're reading the 11th part of the dissertation of the 26th chapter of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which is the 23rd chapter of the book of Zion. And I'm going to start where I left off. Here, the Creator Godhead of earth is talking. This, the spirit of Messiah Zion. Kenny is the body of Messiah, but his soul is a piece of that larger godly spirit. The spirit of Messiah was the male half of the Godhead of Zion Messiah, our earthly divine couple. It is that Godhead, that merged spirit, that is speaking here. It is both Zion and Messiah speaking as one united being. This Godhead is both male and female in a merged state. This merged state isn't permanent until the god and goddess involved have become so evolved through merging over and over again that the process takes on a category of time that we can't even name. So, as an example, our Zion Messiah have only truly merged once, when they created this solar system. It is during a merged state, I call the dance of life, that creation happens. When a divine couple merges, they create souls, two by two. Souls that are mated souls, that have the potential to one day merge and ascend into one. One day they will become gods, they can become gods and goddesses also. So we are the souls that the Godhead has made. So, for all of these years that Kenny and I have been evolving, we have been in an ancient, beyond ancient rite of passage and everlasting journey to become as our creators are. We are becoming spirit. When we come together physically, we will begin our first step in the process called merging. The process of evolution is hard, and the contending of the two souls is like a battlefield. The two souls must resolve their differences. A merge can only happen when the two mated souls are in perfect accord. All core beliefs and morals must match. Only then can the merging energies become one. Then they become spirit. The energies merge to become one new form of energy. This energy is at a higher frequency. It generates more energy for the brains to evolve and to use. This advances the soul, opening up new brain functions, advancing the human race, pushing evolution on a species scale. The merged new energy becomes a waveform in the matrix of the planet. Kenny and I actually began this merging in September of 1979. It was the reason I was healed that night. We merged into a new energy form. That merge set in motion our evolution and reset my matrix. I was able to shed the energies of those unmated souls that had raped me. When Kenny and I began to merge, our new form undid the spiritual damage of my rapes. I was healed. Usually, when soulmates get together physically, their unique energies tend to create a peaceful coexistence. This strengthens the bonds between the souls, but doesn't allow the spirit to merge, because the souls get along so well that even the core beliefs are put aside to allow the natural harmony to flow. Soulmate marriages are usually the happily ever after type. Luckily for the souls that find their mates and are able to live out their lives without having to deal with the core beliefs that underlie the merge, that lucky couple is free to enjoy the unique relationship that only happiness in mated couples can bring. For those souls about to merge, However, the situation is entirely different. The new energy is a single energy wavelength shared by the two entirely different people. The single energy makes them a single spirit with two minds and two bodies, two points of view, two separate paths that are parallel. To complete the merge, all thought forms must align. So when two advanced soulmates get together and are on a point of merging, all differences become amplified. The core beliefs and the morals must become single. A battle of the souls takes place as the two souls struggle to find equilibrium. Each opposite point of view or core value must be decided completely. They must, to their very core, agree. Only then can they merge completely. Kenny and I have been in this soulmate death match since 1988, when the Grey merged our minds. They forced Kenny to re engage with me, and by doing so, they enacted the merging of our minds. We have been dealing with our core issues since then. We have had no choice but to come to terms with our core selves. When we began to interact in early 1988, we were worlds apart in our core beliefs and in our moral standings. Kenny was a man of this society, an ordinary man. I was a very broken person, literally begging God to kill me. We were so far apart that at that time, spiritually, it was not even funny. Kenny, as I said, was a society man. He lived by social norms, so to speak. He was a family man, living his life in an ordinary way. He didn't care about core beliefs or moral values beyond the physical. If I hadn't begged God to kill me, Kenny would have gone on with his normal life. But I couldn't go on. I had been healed in a sense when Kenny and I had merged, but that only removed the residue of the energies of those who fucked me before that time. Every man that has touched me since then has left his signature on my flesh. By 1988, I had been fucked by enough men to drive me to suicide, but my core belief and my morality was preventing me from ending my own life. I believed in God. I prayed every day of my life. I began this practice as a child going to Sunday school. I always believed in God. I could never end my life on my own. But I was in a living hell. In 1979, my faith in God was actualized. I had evidence of God that was in accord with biblical verse. Like Joseph, I had a dream. Like Jacob, I had had my prayer answered in a physical world. But my answered prayer, my fulfilled dream, was Kenny. Kenny was married to his brother's wife, rejecting me. Hell on earth, living hell. I could not live my faith without Kenny, but Kenny didn't know or care. Life had led us down very different paths. I couldn't live without Kenny. God had proven himself to me through him. How could I live? How could I die? But that wasn't his fault. He never wanted to hurt me. He didn't know that he hurt me to the point of death. And it was this point in my life that he was abducted and forced to deal with me. He had made this problem, not on purpose, but still, I was bound to him, not only by my dream, but also by his own words on that night of our merge. You see, he branded me that night. I have an abdominal scar from when Rihanna was removed. That scar was just healing when we dated. That scar became his brand on me. He told me, "As long as you bear this scar, you belong to me." Thanks a lot, Kenny, for sealing my fate with your words. I know that he spoke those words in passion, that he probably forgot he ever made that claim, but I remember. I branded my soul with those words. It was those words that forced me to beg for death. His first lesson should have been to never speak in passion and forget. So, in the heat of passion, he spoke words that bound us together in our merged state. When he went back to his life without me, we had almost gotten back together when I was turning 18, but my mother convinced me that Kenny truly cared about me. He would come to Louisiana and get me. I told him in a letter that I wanted him to come get me. Mom insisted on it. He wanted me to take a bus. He didn't come. He rejected me. He broke my heart and sentenced me to a fate far, far worse than death. He married the one single woman on this planet that the Bible, my go-to book for God, did not condone, allow, or consider to be valid in any way, shape, or form, unless his brother had died without a male heir. And in this day and age, that doesn't matter. So his act of careless rejection was a death sentence to me. My soul failed in 1979, and again in 1988. When his soul fails, then things will begin to change. I can already feel those changes coming. I know that his soul has failed at least twice. He had cancer twice, so at least twice he has reached the breaking point and his body has faltered. I wait for the time he breaks down and returns to me in love and mercy as foretold by Isaiah in chapter 54, for both our souls have failed. For the past 30 years, he and I have been contending. We have been fighting out our differences. He has been angry with me since the very beginning. He was perfectly happy when he was abducted. He thought he had it all, a good job, a loving wife, children he adored, friends he enjoyed. He had a great life, as far as he saw it. I ruined his perfect world. But I had always been praying for his perfect life. He rejected me, but I loved him so much I wished him every joy in life that I could not give him. I felt since 1979 that I wasn't worthy of him. I couldn't be his perfect wife. I was a whore. I couldn't even trust myself. Now, how could he trust me? I couldn't give him children or sex without being haunted by rape. I prayed for him to have the life I could never give to him. I hope that someday he will forgive me for not just killing myself. I could not live to be free of my love for him, a love inspired by the Bible and by actual physical events in my life. I would have to die. I belong to him. I am his property by choice, by faith, and by my own need. So the only way to free myself from him would have been by death. Someday perhaps he'll come to understand that and forgive me for living. 57:17. For the iniquity of his covetousness was I wroth, and I smote him. I hid me and was wroth, and he went on forwardly in the ways of his heart. This verse tells us that Kenny wasn't a perfect man. He messed up of God. He was envious of someone or something, perhaps his brother's happiness. His home life made him a bit jealous. I don't know. I don't know. He says that that is the case. He wanted a happy family, but I doubt he wanted his brother's family. That's what he got. Perhaps that's his failing. He took his covetous desire and didn't bother to think about the morality of it. Because to covet something is to want it beyond God, beyond badly enough so that it's a forbidden desire, a desire that isn't quite right. It's not a desire that can't be lawfully or morally acted upon. So Kenny's marriage fits the bill here. He wanted what he thought his brother had. He was given the opportunity to possess it, and he gave in to that forbidden desire. He coveted his brother's wife and took her from him. And so there will the end for this time. May the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. May they teach you right from wrong, and may you always be worthy of them. May your words, thoughts, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Stay happy and high, my friends. I'll see you later, because I'll never say goodbye.